Hey guys, a few weeks ago I reached 16,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. I never thought I'd get 16 subscribers, never mind 16,000 subscribers. So what I decided to do, as I do now and again, is to do a question and answer, a Q&A. So I asked on all the social media sites that I use for your questions, and I'll do some answers on this video. I've not read any of the questions yet, guys, so there's probably questions in there that I'll probably won't know the answer to straight away if it's an opinion-based one, so I will have to pause this a few times. I'm going to be on my computer as well while I'm talking to you because I have to open up all the sites that I've got all the questions on. So I'm going to start on one of my social media pages on Facebook, and then I'll work my way across the rest of them. So I will read out your name. If I have the same question twice, I will read out your name for asking the question, but if it is the same question or a similar question to one I've answered before, then I'll just tell you to look at the answer before. So we'll start off with Jeffrey Mussman. Jeffrey's one of my patrons. He's asked, what's your favourite non-horror film? Now that's an easy question to start off with, which is great. My favourite non-horror movie is Back to the Future, and in fact Back to the Future is my favourite movie of all time. So that's a quick one. Daryl Haynes has asked, what's your favourite Evil Dead movie? Now, I'm not a massive fan of the Evil Dead movies, so the answer I'm going to give you, a lot of you are probably going to hate me for this. I've not watched them for a long time. I will re-watch them and I will do a re-ranking for them or a ranking for them because I've never ranked them before. But as far as I remember, I really liked the remake or the reboot from 2013, I think it was, directed by Fede Alvarez. I really liked that one. I think it was the bloodiest one and the most realistic and scary one. But I also have a special place in my heart for Army of Darkness as well. I loved Army of Darkness growing up as a kid. Watching it today, I've not watched it for a long time, but if I watched it today, I'd probably not like it as much as I did before. So as we speak, we're tied for Army of Darkness and the reboot by Fede Alvarez. But again, I've not seen them for a long time, so that may change when I watch them again. So Jason Prouty, you have said, congrats on the fast growing channel. Thanks very much. I have two. I'm greedy. Okay, you've got two questions, but feel free to only answer the best. Haha. I will answer the two of them. So what is your favourite movie trilogy? Oh, that's a good one. I think I'm going to have to go with, I do really like the Dark Knight trilogy from Christopher Nolan, and that is a popular one. And even though it's popular, I'm not going to avoid it because it is one of the popular opinions, but I think that's probably my favourite trilogy. But I do have, again, a soft spot for the Back to the Future trilogy. Back to the Future being my favourite movie of all time, brings that trilogy right up. Back to the Future 2 I love, but it's not one of my favourite movies. And I think what brings it down is the third movie, Back to the Future 3. So at this moment in time, I'm going to say the Dark Knight trilogy. If you could pick any writer or director to make any horror franchise movie, who would you pick and for what franchise? So if I could pick any writer or director to make any horror franchise movie, ooh, who's a good writer slash director? We know that Quentin Tarantino is a good writer slash director. I would probably choose Quentin Tarantino. I've still not seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I know that's got some horror elements to it. But I would probably put down Quentin Tarantino to direct a Halloween movie. And that is very cliche because I'm guessing a lot of people have said that. I know that he did write a draft for Halloween 6, but I would like to see him write a Halloween movie and direct it and see how that goes. I'd like to see how he gets on, because not a lot of people can transition from one genre to another. Look at Kevin Smith. He directed Red State and Tusk, which are horror-based movies with a bit of comedy in them. And as much as I enjoyed them a bit, they're not great horror movies, so it is hard to be a great director, which Kevin Smith is, and to direct a horror movie. It's a completely different kettle of fish, and I'd like to see Quentin Tarantino do something like that. Moving on to Gary Struthers, he said, congratulations, thanks very much. If you could choose between being slowly dismembered and eviscerated by Jason Voorhees or lighting a fart in public, which would you choose and why? I'd probably choose lighting a fart in public because the chances of you dying are very slim. So Yeah, I would probably choose lighting a fart in public. I know that's not a serious question, but thanks anyway. Lamont Smith, he's a huge supporter of my channel, guys. He's said, congrats again, Wolf Myers. That's my name on Facebook. The question is, what is the most underrated horror movie you've seen? The most underrated horror movie I've seen? I know there's a lot of underrated horror movies that I love. The most popular one that a lot of people hate is The Babadook, but I don't really consider that a horror movie, so I'm not going to say that, because that is an incredible piece of movie making. That is a masterpiece. But the one I'm going to go for, just off the top of my head, I'm going to say Under the Skin. And again, it's more of a sci-fi horror, but it's got horror elements to it, and it was filmed in Glasgow as well, so it's kind of close to me. Under the Skin was an incredible movie, and that's one of those artistic horror slash sci-fi movies that some people haven't even seen. So if you haven't seen Under the Skin starring Scarlett Johansson, I'm not even going to tell you what it's about. Just watch it, and you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. Cody Cooper has asked, awesome man, thanks very much. His question is, do you have an idea for a horror movie, and if so, what is it? When I was younger, I always had ideas for horror movies, and they always were based around the things that I loved at the time. Slasher movies was the big one back in the mid-90s to the late 90s. I always wrote this little script about this bad guy called John Jackson, was it? The bad guy was called John Jackson, and he wore a mask and he went around and killed people, and obviously you know where that came from. So I've never had a unique idea in mind. I have had a few ideas in mind that I haven't copied from anywhere, but they just sound a bit too similar. There was this one idea that I had of a hitchhiker who's killed somebody or kills people and hitches a ride by someone who has also killed people. He kills hitchhikers, and they're both sitting in this car together, and they're both looking at each other thinking, I'm going to kill you, but they both don't know that each other are serial killers. That's one idea that I had. Now, if anybody's watching that and tries to use it, I've copyrighted it, it's my idea. But apart from that, all the other ideas that I've had are not as unique. Hi there, yeah, we've got Rachel J who's asked a question. She's wrote quite a bit, so let's have a look. So she's wrote, hi there, wanted to ask you for your take on the storyline direction for the Halloween 40 sequels, Kills and Ends. John Carpenter spoke of his version of Myers being an evil wind or some such. My question is, why do they even bother bringing back any characters from the original film? I'll answer that first and then I'll go into the next bit. So she's wrote, why even bother bringing back characters from the original film? I think it's because there's a bit of nostalgic factor in that. When you see an original character coming back from an earlier entry in a movie, something brings you back to that from what you remember being great. I'll take, this isn't horror related, but I'll take the Fast and Furious franchise for example. After Fast and Furious from 2009, when they brought back Dom, each movie had a character come back from previous movies and tying all the franchise into one. I think when you see that, it's fun to watch, and I think they do the same with the Halloween movies. Bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis again was a good move. Just for that movie, I would have seen it was a good move. Bringing back Tommy, for example, I think it is a good move, depending on how well they do it and how they write him into the story. So I think it's always a good idea, as long as they've got a good idea to show us on screen. So you've also wrote, they don't have any relevance to anything or anyone, at least where Myers is concerned. Well, Tommy has a relevance, so I brought Tommy into it. Now the news, Anthony Michael Hall will be playing Tommy. I'd be interested to get your thoughts on this. I have given my thoughts on it in a couple of videos before, so I did go into it. There's about a 5-minute talk. I don't want to bore you with it again, but if you want, Rachel, check out my video below, a couple of videos below. I talk about Anthony Michael Hall being cast. I understand that you've obviously asked that question after I before that I posted the video, so apologies for that, but check it out. Do you think this strategy will deliver some good films, or more disjointed films that can never reach their potential? Thanks from Australia, all the way from Australia. Again, I think it depends how they use his character. I think it's a good strategy bringing the character of Tommy back, and I think it is good that they're bringing in Anthony Michael Hall, someone who people my age know from the 80s and 90s, but he's also a new face to people who are just getting introduced to the Halloween franchise now. So I think we're getting the best of both with Anthony Michael Hall. But like I said, watch my video down below with regards to Anthony Michael Hall, Rachel, and hopefully that answers all your questions. So we'll move on to the next question from Teleanimated. Now, if you don't know Teleanimated, he's one of the biggest channels on YouTube, and I'm actually so happy that you've asked me a question because, again, Teleanimated is one of the biggest and best channels out there. If you haven't heard of them, subscribe to them. But anyway, he's asked, what's your favourite movie trilogy? Now, I already have answered that question, unfortunately. Heather Wilson has asked, congratulations, Wolfman, thanks. If you could be killed by any horror icon, then who would it be? Ooh. You know the answer's probably going to have to be Michael Myers, because I love the character of Michael Myers. I love the fact that we don't know why he does it for now. So I think that if I was getting killed by someone, I'd rather not know the reason. So Michael Myers is my choice. Okay, next question. Sadid Aliyev. Sorry if I've butchered your name, Sadig. You've asked, do you have a favourite superhero movie? At the moment, it's probably Avengers Endgame. And the reason for that is because it's still fresh in my mind. I've seen it 3 times at the cinema. And at the moment, I think it is my favourite superhero movie because it's got heart to it, it's got a lot of action, and it had a satisfying end to the Marvel Cinematic Universe of Phase 3 or whatever. So at the moment it's Endgame, but no doubt that will go down as time goes by. Craig Goad has said, I like the idea you had about doing a video with how you would talk normally to other people. I'm interested in learning about that stuff. Maybe you could incorporate some of that. See, I would like to do that, Craig, and I think I know what you mean. Like, this is the way I talk when I'm at work. This is the way I talk when I'm doing my professional work, and obviously on YouTube as well. And the reason I do it on YouTube is because more people will understand what I'm saying than how I would speak outside. I'm not like this. I don't speak a different language from YouTube. I'm just more polite on YouTube than I am at home, I would say. I am polite to my family and my kids and stuff like that, but I do say things that we would say normally in Glasgow that you guys wouldn't understand, or most of you wouldn't understand, so I don't tend to do that. But I wouldn't mind doing a video in the future. I would probably do a video with more Glasgow people or more Scottish people, like a collaboration on YouTube, so we can all discuss how we would talk to each other. I think speaking to the camera is a little bit difficult when trying to talk about how I normally speak. Having somebody there with me, then it would make it a lot better. Travis Lauderbaugh has asked, what's your favourite John Carpenter movie besides Halloween? It's a close one, and sometimes depending on my mood it does change slightly, but at this moment in time my favourite John Carpenter movie besides Halloween is Big Trouble in Little China, closely followed by The Thing. Darren S has said, would be good to see you collaborate with Dave or Jimmy. How would you feel about that? I'm assuming you mean Dave McRae or Jimmy Champagne. I'm always up for doing collaborations with people. I'm not one to go out and ask people if I can collaborate with them because I hate rejection. So yeah, I'd love to collaborate with any of those guys because they're big Halloween guys, especially on YouTube. So I wouldn't really go and actively ask them just in case they say, no, I don't know who you are or whatever. So I tend not to do that. If they ask me, I would be all for it. And I think what the biggest issue for me with doing collaborations is timing, because I'm from the UK. I know that Dave's in Canada and Jimmy's in America, so their timing is similar to each other, or more similar than mine. I mean, I'm usually maybe 5 or 6 hours ahead of those guys, so trying to arrange a time, because I'm sure they're busy as well as I am, and I only get certain times during the day to do filming on YouTube, and if it doesn't match with what they do, then it's quite hard. I did do a few collaborations in the past from some of the guys from the US, and I had to be up till like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning to be able to do it with them. It's time consuming and quite quite tiresome as well, so it is quite hard to do that. But if any of the guys asked me, then definitely I'll be all for it. Jazzwant B96 has said, in Ghostface's voice, what's your favourite scary movie? Are you asking me to say what's your favourite scary movie, or do you want me to tell you my favourite scary movie? If you want me to tell you my favourite scary movie, it's Halloween. That's bad. Megasting1981 has said, if you could remake one movie, what would it be? If I could remake one movie, it would be The Monster Squad from 1987. It is a fantastic nostalgia-filled horror movie that I absolutely love. Obviously my channel is called Wolfman's Got Nard, so you know that I love the movie. I would just love to see not a remake of it, but a reboot of it, and I'd love to see a universe of it, not the Tom Cruise, the Mummy movies, but have like a Dracula movie, a Mummy movie, Frankenstein's monster movie, the Wolfman movie, and then bring all those characters together into one movie and call it the Monster Squad. I've actually already spoken to Fred Dekker about it. Fred Dekker directed the original Monster Squad, and he loved the idea, and he actually had that idea as well. I'm actually going to see Fred Dekker in October in a convention called For the Love of Horror, so I might talk to him about it then as well. But yeah, one movie I would reboot / remake would definitely be the Monster Squad. Ellie McLeod has asked, what is your favourite all-time horror movie franchise? It's the Halloween franchise, definitely, because of certain movies in the franchise. I don't have a lot of fun with the Halloween franchise because there is some bad movies in that franchise. I do love the Friday the 13th franchise as well. I think that I have more fun with the Friday the 13th franchise. I think they're all easy watches, apart from Jason X and the Final Friday. Apart from those two, I have a lot of fun with the rest of them, but Halloween, I'm going to have to stick with Halloween. Michael Chilla has asked, what are some of the unforeseen consequences of having a YouTube channel? Congrats on the 16,000 subs. Thanks very much, Michael. Michael's doing the Halloween fan film later this year. I've done a trailer reaction to his film, and it looks incredible, by the way. But yeah, your question is, what is some of the unforeseen consequences of having a YouTube channel? I think I don't have any consequences. I know that I talk about bullies quite a bit, and I talk about trolls as well, but that's really all you get with YouTube channels, and if you let it get under your skin, then it will affect you. But if you see them for what they are, as like these trolls or whatever, then it doesn't bother me at all. I actually enjoy having a YouTube channel. I don't have a YouTube channel because I want to make money off it, even though I do make money off it. But I don't have the channel because it's my sole income or anything like that. It's just a hobby, and I get paid for talking about my hobby, which is great. So I love it. So I don't think I have any consequences. I know that some other people do have consequences for their channels, depending on what kind of stuff they talk about. But for me, I'm enjoying it. Cephas Graham has asked, outside of the horror genre, what's your favourite film? Or if that's too hard, what's your top 10? Well, outside of the horror genre, my favourite film is Back to the Future, which happens to be my favourite movie anyway. So yeah, Back to the Future. Matthew Coleman has asked, have you ever considered writing or directing your own Halloween short film? Yes, I've actually got an idea in mind for a Halloween fan film. I was going to actually shoot it this year with the... Let me see if you guys can see that there. With this mask. But I decided to wait because I knew that the original mask was coming out as well, which is this one. And so I decided to wait to see how that mask looked. Now the mask doesn't look amazing, but I really do like it. I like the blank canvas, so I do have a different idea of what I want to go with. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get anything done this year because it's just going to take too much time, but I have a few people in mind that can help me out and a few ideas in mind. So yes, I do plan on doing that in the future. Matthew's also asked, what is your favourite cinema chain? I'm a cinema host in Scotland. Oh, that's great. I'm in Scotland as well, obviously. My cinema chain that I go to is Cineworld. I've had a Cineworld card since 2004, so that's been 15 years I've had a card. It cost $9.99 a month when I first took it out, but now it's up to like $18.60 or something now. But I still go, and I still love it. Cineworld's probably the best. And he's also said, what is your most terrifying experience / encounter you've ever gone through? The most terrifying experience I've gone through was actually a time I thought I was going to die. This isn't a sob story or anything because I'm still alive, but when I was 11 years old, I was playing around these fields with my friends and I jumped into these bushes and I thought I stood on jaggy nettles. So I was like, oh, that's jaggy. And I looked up and all these wasps were down there stinging me. So I ran away. And the wasps kept coming for me and kept stinging me until eventually I started to faint. And I was trying to crawl away from them, but they just kept going and stinging until eventually I passed out. And then I woke up in this woman's arms and she was carrying me home with my friends behind me. And they put me in a bath of vinegar. And when I got put into that bath of vinegar, it was absolutely agony. They just had to get the stings out of me. You know, when you get a cut and you put vinegar on it, it's stingy. Just imagine all these stings all over you. And all these dead wasps were just falling off me. That was a very scary experience because I went to the hospital after it as well just to make sure I was okay. And if I was allergic to wasps, I would have had no chance. I would have died instantly because of the amount of times I get stung. To keep me awake as well, the doctor was helping me count all the wasp stings. I know. And we counted 87 wasp stings at the time. It could have been more, but I was stung by at least 87 wasps within a minute. And it was the worst day of my life. It was agony. I'm like the Scottish Candyman with wasps. Robert Garcia has asked, have you ever read Halloween Night Dance, the comic miniseries about Myers? If so, would you like to see some scenes or deaths borrow from the comics and into the upcoming movies? I've never read it, but I have heard it's a good read and there's good kills in it as well. So if people who have if people who have read it like it, then definitely bring that into the movie world as well. They do it with the Marvel Cinematic Universe with their ideas, so why not the Halloween Night Dance? Unless it's very cheesy, then no, but if it's good and people like it, then I don't see why not. Nicola the Avenger, who again is another long subscriber of mine, he's asked, what made you want to make this channel? Now that is a great question because I don't think I've ever been asked that question before. I made this channel for the same reasons as a lot of people, that I love movies, especially horror movies, and when you try and talk to people, especially in my area, not a lot of people around me love horror movies. Not a lot of people like movies, to be honest, as much as I do. So when I talk to people about movies, I don't get that in-depth conversation with them as I do with some of the guys on here. So I think that the channel that I created, initially, I didn't create the channel for movies, I just created it to showcase some of my custom Blu-ray covers, but it was obviously movie related. But I decided to myself, do you know what, nobody really wants to talk to me outside of YouTube about horror movies or movies in general. So I thought, let's continue on with my YouTube journey and talk about movies more. And that's what I do here, and 16,000 subscribers later, I'm talking movies every day, which is great. Big Daddy Jason 2980 has asked, how and why did you get into reviewing horror movies? Well, it's kind of similar to my last question there from Nicola, is that I just love to talk about horror movies, and to review a horror movie was always a dream of mine. I'm not the best critic, I'm not the best reviewer, but I do give the most, I do give the most honest reviews as much as I can. When I see a movie, if I genuinely don't like it, but I see that a lot of people love it, I still want to give my view on why I like it or why I hate it. And I always do that. You know, if I'm reviewing a movie, I'll give my reasons why I like something and why I don't like something. I don't just say I don't like it, that's it, or I do like it and that's it. So I do like to really get right into it. Ever since becoming a photographer as well, I've been watching movies from a different angle now, especially with the cinematography of movies, and I can see the reasons why some directors do things now that I didn't see before, and that's another reason why I do really like reviewing horror movies especially. Next question is from Fantastic Mr. Fox. They've wrote, hi Barry, do you think Michael will lose or take off his mask in one of the next two movies? Do you think they will have him speak? Thank you. I don't think he'll speak. I think that's a little bit too much. I don't think we need Michael to speak, and if he doesn't speak even to the very end, that would be great, because we learned a hard lesson from the director's cut of the Rob Zombie Halloween 2. Even his theatrical cut was awful, but he spoke, and that was a big no-no for me. Even just watching it made me cringe. So I don't think we'll have him speak, and hopefully he doesn't speak. As for the mask, we've already seen him without the mask on in the 2018 movie, albeit from an angle or from a distance. So we might see something like that again. I don't think we'll see him up close face to face. I think again that would take away too much. It would take away what we don't need to know about Michael, so hopefully that doesn't happen. It's not to say that it won't happen, I just hope it doesn't. So guys, I'm going to have to stop it there. My video is almost 25 minutes, 30 minutes long, and I don't want to waste any more time, but thanks for everybody who's got involved and asked me questions. If I haven't read your question, guys, I'm really sorry. Time is of the essence here, but yeah, thanks everyone for all the questions, and hopefully you like the answers as well. And again, thanks for subscribing to my channel. Like I said, I never thought I'd get over 16,000 subscribers in my whole life, and hopefully that continues. Anyway guys, thanks a lot for watching again. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.